All right, this is Daniel J. with Cybervent, website for ventriloquists, and I'm here with Jeremy Lepak, one of the up-and-comers, man. I mean, you know, and actually, how long you been doing ventriloquism now?
I've been doing it about 10 years.
About 10 years, okay. So you started when you were 3. No, I'm just teasing. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions here, and I got a few questions, and then it may just go from there. But the first question I have is, what got you interested in ventriloquism?
Well,
10 years ago.
Like a lot of kids, kind of around my age, you know, the early 20s. At first, it was Jeff Dunham.
Mm-hmm.
I was checking out his specials, but it didn't turn me into a ventriloquist right away. I just liked him a lot. I checked out some of the older ventriloquists, the vaudeville ones are what I really went after, the family friendly. You got Edgar Bergen, Paul Winchell,
mm-hmm.
you know, Senior Wences, all those guys.
Right.
And we all love those guys.
Right, yeah. And so you went to YouTube and checked them out?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you, YouTube is an excellent source anymore. I mean, and you get a lot of good ideas from old routines, right?
Right.
I mean, you know, you put your own spin on them, and it's just really, you know, and you could take 1, 2, 3 different routines and combine them into something completely different.
The greatest ventriloquists do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but that's awesome. And so besides yourself, because everybody says myself first usually, who's your favorite ventriloquist?
Ooh, that question.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I've got so many favorites.
Right.
Really,
right.
There's David Pendleton,
mm-hmm.
Bob Abdu's definitely up there my favorites.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Dunham, I love.
Uh-huh.
Not all the ventriloquists do, but
right.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's funny.
Well, I mean, he's one of the best in the industry, and it just
Terry Fader's a musical influence. I have music in my act, and so Terry Fader's a pretty big influence on that.
Right.
Darcy Lynn is fantastic. She's fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic, definitely.
You
Don't forget that word.
Gotta say fantastic.
Fantastic.
That's the new thing. Thank you, Frank.
It is. Yes. Thanks, Frank. Fantastic. Yep. Absolutely.
Get that copyrighted, Frank.
Yeah. Get that. Yeah.
But we can all still say it.
Yeah. Next question is, what is your favorite character of yours right now?
It's kind of a tie. I've got 3 favorites out of all of mine, and I feel guilty picking favorites,
mm-hmm.
but there's always the one you find yourself practicing the most.
Right.
I've got Lucky G. Lewis. He's a Jerry Lee Lewis impersonator.
Oh, nice.
And so he actually has a piano on stage. He plays. He does this.
Wow.
He sings.
That's awesome.
We've got Cockroach, the punk rock metalhead. I mean, he's a punk rock kid, loves caffeine, comes on stage, dancing around, jumping.
Mm-hmm.
He does air guitar, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Air tambourine, he goes like this. And that was a fairly new joke. Dan Horn helped me come up with that, so thank you, Dan.
That's nice.
And then my drunk Uncle Larry is a pretty big one too.
Yeah.
And so I take him out of the case, and I've got him like drunk walking. He's staggering all the way to the stand, and at one point he almost falls, and I catch him.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We're very creative characters. That's awesome.
I have a lot of fun with them.
Yeah, I bet you do. You get a lot of practice in.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've found myself up at 3 in the morning doing it.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
It really is. Speaking of practice, what would you say is some of your best practices during practice? What would you say are some things that you need to do when you're doing practice?
I'm very, very script oriented. I'm pretty stick to the script. I'm strict on it. That's just how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'll study the script very heavily for 2, 3 weeks, rehearsing it, looking at it, and then I'll start to just break away from it, and it comes out naturally at shows.
Right.
It doesn't work. It's not like that for every event, and I've had
right.
people disagree with me about it too.
Well, yeah, some people say that you need to be able to ad-lib and break away from the script.
Yeah, and I do that too.
Right.
But, for the baseline of the act, the main, it's like the bass and, music.
Right,
The main center part of the act. Basically, however I do on the last few rehearsals is how it turns out on stage.
Sure.
I have had those times when I was a little newer and I had less rehearsal time and it didn't turn out as good.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do the same act later, much heavier,
Something like that.
It's the convention sleep schedule.
Right.
A lot heavier rehearsed, and it would turn out perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly how I wanted it to, and
Right. Yeah.
and throw a few ad libs in there too.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Now, how many times have you attended the convention, and what's your favorite part of it?
Well, I've attended since 2014. This is 2018, so 4 years so far. There's gonna be a lot more than this.
Sure.
And well, my favorite part is just seeing everybody. I mean, we're a family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, seeing everyone. You know, we're all hugging, we're all handshaking. We're like, hey,
Yeah.
how are you, man?
Right. Yeah. It's a long year in between that, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it goes pretty quick with the performing and such because
Sure.
we enjoy what we do.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And well, and we keep up with most everybody keeps up with each other on social media of some sort.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing too.
Yeah, and I message a few vents a day. I mean, I've never really, my phone is never dry.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. What advice would you give for newbies just starting out in ventriloquism?
Ventriloquism is something you really have to stick with. It's taken me about 8-9 years to start really getting good shows out of myself and learning it. A lot of it was self-taught, and then I got a mentor. I highly suggest a mentor. If they charge you, find one that's affordable, but a good mentor, one that will coach you, one that will tell you what you're doing wrong. One that's not shy about that, but one that also builds you up too when you're doing the right, the
Right.
good stuff and.
Right. And you say you use Bob Abdu for a mentor quite a bit.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I
Yeah.
love Bob.
Yeah, and he has no problem telling you when you're doing the wrong thing, right? And,
No.
Yeah.
That's what makes him a great mentor.
Yeah.
Is that he's a coach.
Mhm.
He knows what he's doing, and
Yeah, and he probably helps you with your comedy quite a bit too.
oh, indeed, yeah.
Yeah, he's a really funny guy.
Yeah.
And a great guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming and doing the interview. And,
I appreciate the interview.
I wish you much success in the future, and I know you're going to have lots of success.
Oh, thank you.
And thanks again.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, great seeing you, Dan.
You too. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
There it is.
Yeah.
Cybervent.